Am I the butthole for making my stepsister seem uneducated? Hi. So, I, female, 21, am currently staying with my family on my dad's side. My stepsister is 19. We never got along. I grew up in Korea and have a Korean name. I won't say it here, but it's the same as a Blackpink member, not too hard to pronounce, especially after 7 years of being my stepsister, but she always gets it wrong to a point that it seems on purpose. The rest of the family gets it right, except for my little sister, but she is 3 laughing out loud. I speak 5 languages in total, my stepbrother speaks 3, my stepsister never wanted to learn, even thought she had the chance. Anyway, I am tired of her never getting my name right. We were in a small reunion yesterday, all safe, and she kept mispronouncing it. At one point, I mispronounced a word and my sister made fun of it in front of everyone, making everyone laugh at me. I was tired, I wasn't feeling well and wanted to just go home. I told her that I was sorry about mispronouncing a word in one of the 5 languages I speak, while she only speaks English and can't ever get a Korean name right. My stepmom was furious, and oh god, if there was trouble when I got home. Everyone is mad at me for making my stepsis seem uneducated in public. Am I the butthole? Edit to add, she has no speech impediment. I gave her the option of going by my initial, and her mom, the woman that almost let me die when I was 15, gets my name right. Not the butthole. You didn't make her seem uneducated. You revealed that she's being racist by refusing to pronounce your name correctly. And revealed that stepmom did a pretty poor job raising her if at 19 years old she still refuses to pronounce a name correctly. Ding ding ding. I thought we stopped making fun of Asian names. I feel bad for laughing. I feel good knowing that someone else also feels bad, because I laughed too. Welp, I'll see y'all in hell. I'll bring marshmallows. I'll bring the chocolate and graham crackers. Spoiler alert, Ding was the name original poster's sister couldn't pronounce. Oh dang. No, Ding, winking face. I'm an elementary P teacher and have to learn 40 to 60 new names a year. It takes me a couple of months, but I learn their names and how to pronounce them. This is an entitled 19-year-old who is holding a grudge. I had the same P teacher for 4 years while in elementary school. She could never say my name to save her life. My name is a Persian name, so it's expected. I give her a lot of credit because she kept trying. I told her many times to call me by my nickname, but she loved my real name too much. Even though she couldn't say it laughing out loud on the last year, she did get it, but then she got my sister, who has a Persian name as well, and hers is more difficult than mine, is laughing out loud. Good to see someone trying to learn. Reminds me of one of my classmates in elementary school. He had a very Russian last name with letters that were there in places of Russian ones that make sounds that just don't exist in English. Our gym teacher only called students by their last names and was determined to treat him no different. He had a very normal, for an English speaker that is, first name, and sat with him and went over the specific pronunciation. That teacher was the only person aside from that guy and his siblings that could pronounce their last name properly. I had an art teacher in high school that would take roll call with my name and then call me Nancy for the rest of the day. My name is Debbie, not even one letter the same. I teach English and would have to learn somewhere in the region of 300 names, so I just call my students sir or miss. I'll learn the names of the students that often approach me with questions, etc. though. Well, on the other hand, the step-bro, presumably from the same mother as stepsister, does know 3 languages. Maybe the stepmom could have encouraged more from her daughter. She didn't seem to discourage it in the brother. And I would imagine it would be the case for the daughter. I'm guessing you don't realize that Korean names are shockingly easy to say. They are literally 2 short syllables. There's really only 1 or 2 sounds in the language that are difficult to say, but there's usually an analog in English. The anglicization looks kind of weird sometimes, but phonetically it's simple. Like, Daehyun equals day. Yun. Once you hear the name, it's done. You have to put effort into not pronouncing most Korean names properly once you hear them spoken. I work at an Asian-based clothing retail company. 80 to 90% of my coworkers are Asian. I have had Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Thai, and Filipino coworkers. I have learned to say 99% of their names. There was one Chinese guy who just had us call him by an American name rather than have us mangle the Chinese pronunciation of his name, but otherwise it might take me 1 or 2 tries, but I'll get it, because they're my coworkers and they deserve my respect. This stepsister can't even give the same level of respect I give someone I work with to someone who is supposed to be family. You know that weird thing that both Bernie Sanders and Trump do when they say huge is huge? I have that. I'm not from NYC at all, nor are my parents, but for some reason I struggle really hard to make that huge sound that's in huge, human, etc. I didn't notice that I said it differently, or even that other people actually pronounce the H in those words, until I was an adult and one of my friends heard me say human and started laughing like, wait, what? Say that again. I try to say it the way everyone else does because now I'm self-conscious about it, but it's weird because it actually kind of comes out like Q because I'm trying so hard to make the H sound come out at the front of the word. That's my long way of saying, Daehyun would be a very hard word for me. I would probably end up saying it like Daehyun without the H sound and then just hoping for the best. That's a particular speech pattern you have, though. It would be clear you were at least attempting to say her name properly, and that your attempts matched other similar words. Original poster's stepsister has no such problem. Also, I intentionally picked a more difficult name on purpose, so don't feel bad. And even more specifically, since original poster revealed that her name is the same as Blackpink member, there are only 2 members who actually have Korean-sounding name and both are easy to pronounce with a bit of practice/effort. So this is pure ignorance on the sister's part. Malice on the sister's part. Exactly. If revealing the truth makes her seem uneducated, well, if the shoe fits, I guess. This is 100% racist behavior. When people do this, they are emphasizing the otherness of an entire group of people to put themselves over and above them. Ask about her favorite GOT character, bet she has no trouble with Khaleesi or other names which could be construed as difficult to pronounce. It is not always. There are 2 co-workers' names that I struggle with constantly. My mouth just can't make the right sound, and I have tried over and over and over again. Part of the problem is I had a stroke years ago, so there are lots of English words I mispronounce too. I would never want my co-workers to feel disrespected, so I do share with them about the stroke, and do ask them to correct me as often as possible as that helps. They know I'm trying. I'm about 50% of the time getting their names right. Most of the time, I just try not to say their names at all, or use their last names, which are easier, but I do that on lots of calls where we have numerous people with the same first name. I do similar tricks with other non-name words that I always mispronounce and mangle horribly. I am lucky to be married to an understanding husband who is helpful in correcting me in a tactful way. But you try and you explain the situation. The people who refuse to pronounce a name incorrectly often don't, and their "it's too hard" excuses are often for lack of trying. I was born with a long, difficult last name, and what apparently is a difficult first name, although it shouldn't be. I go out of my way with names and apologize profusely when I screw up. I also empathize with how much I hate my own name getting butchered. I sometimes see 30 to 40 patients a day, so I will say, "Hi, I'm X, is it Maria or Maria, or am I totally wrong? How do you like your name pronounced?" I hate it when everyone gets mine wrong, and I don't want to do that with yours. Also 5 seconds to make the patient feel welcome and important. Can you say your name for me? I want to make sure I get it right. It's so little effort and yet so few people consider doing it. Pre-pandemic and thus pre-contactless drop-offs, I'd ask this of Door Dashers a lot: how do I say your name? I don't often need to worry about ever saying their name, but I like to know I've got a minor name obsession, and I think everyone should have people trying to say their name right. Why is this so hard for people? Same deal. I've got a weird family name. Hearing my name mispronounced for decades has given me the same focus on not wanting to do that to others, or if someone's name truly has a syllable that I can't wrap my mouth around, I'm super apologetic and want to be corrected until I'm at least close, if not all the way there. The thing is that I think you can tell when someone doesn't care enough to try and when someone is very conscientious but just can't do it for whatever reason. Like, I don't have any speech impairments, but I struggle with the Vietnamese surname Ngo because even though it seems so simple, it's just not a sound we have in English. But I've watched YouTube videos and I try so hard, and I think that comes through. Whereas I have a boss, who doesn't even attempt to pronounce some Nigerian names and just waves his hand and asks a subordinate to say it. Yes, that would be a difficult one for me. I just watched a video and tried it out. One of these co-workers, her name can apparently be pronounced in 2 ways. I went and spent a lot of time initially watching a YouTube video and practicing to get it down just right. Only to learn that was not how she pronounced her name. It's a 3-syllable name and the difference is in the emphasis. Now the wrong pronunciation that I spent a lot of time practicing is still stuck in my brain. Sometimes I pronounce her name on a call and it stops my entire train of thought for a bit as I try to figure out was that the right pronunciation or the wrong one. The other colleague has a name more like this wrong versus wrong. The issue with that one I think is where I was raised and my strong accent I still have. I.e., it's like, for example, saying water rather than water or cherry rather than cherry, or rough rather than roof. I've mostly trained myself out of that accent but I still struggle sometimes, especially when trying to apply to unfamiliar names I am just learning. You have a genuine reason and have conveyed that reason to your coworkers so that they know you're not doing it to belittle them. That's all you can do. You've allowed them the dignity of knowing that you would love to be able to pronounce their names, but that you struggle to do so. This stepsister apparently has no such excuse. She's just using microaggressions to try and make her sister feel small. If you're actually trying, then I don't think anyone would hold it against you. Some people just aren't good at pronouncing other languages and you have a perfectly valid reason to struggle with this. My name is pretty hard to pronounce for English speakers, but I can definitely tell the difference between someone making an effort but not getting it quite right and someone who just doesn't care to even try or deliberately pronounces it wrong. That's the same kind of reasoning original poster has for not getting upset with a very young child. Sometimes you don't have the muscles you need to move your mouth in certain ways. If someone can pronounce every word but one name, that person is being purposefully hurtful. I'm really sorry about your stroke. Thank you. If you ever see the next to my posts, it's because I am constantly rereading, going back, realizing I typed things wrong, and correcting them. The stroke was years ago, but I still switch words accidentally, like typing right when I mean right. That last comment I made, I couldn't for the life of me remember how to spell pronunciation. I also hate going around work with the "I had a stroke" label. This happened when I was around 40. I am 55 now. You can bet I kept that information confidential. Nowadays I'm more open about it since it was a long time ago, but it redirected my career in dramatic ways. I used to be a writer and a pretty damn good orator. Sigh. You have a very valid reason for stumbling over words and names occasionally. I'm sure your coworkers understand and appreciate the fact you at least attempt to get their names right or use an acceptable alternative. The stepsister in this case isn't even trying, she's acting like a total brat. Exactly. In life, you're going to encounter names from other cultures, and may not immediately know how to pronounce them. So you politely ask the person to say it for you, and once you've heard it spoken aloud, then, unless either you're a small child, or you have a hearing impairment or other disability, you really have no excuse not to get it right from that point onwards. Or she could just be mispronouncing her name because she's an and knows it's irritating. Original poster stated they never got along and mentions nothing about racial comments towards her. Just because it's a Korean name doesn't make it racist automatically. Not the butthole. Could be that the younger stepsister just plain dislikes her stepsister, so makes no effort to pronounce her name correctly? Or makes an effort to do it incorrectly. All because she doesn't like her stepsister. Nothing to do with her being Korean. If her name wasn't an easy target for the sister, it would be something else. Korean or not. The 19-year-old stepsister is an for that, but her attitude towards her older stepsister isn't exactly rare in broken families. It sounds like she lacks maturity, if anything. Having been a child, I can confirm that deliberately mispronouncing a name is not automatically racially motivated. Sometimes kids just do things for the sole purpose of pissing people off. I have a very white, but easily mispronounced name. A common mispronunciation happens to be a nickname that I really hated. So naturally, all of my friends made a point of deliberately mispronouncing my name whenever they introduced me to people. Stepsis isn't butthole, but I'm not ready to throw the racist card at them yet. She's 19 and it's been 7 years. I'm not sure you can really call this kid stuff anymore. 19 isn't a child. Definitely old enough to have stopped this kind of nonsense. I don't know, I still do crap that's pissed my siblings off since we were kids and I'm in my 30s. There's a line between inside jokes / teasing from childhood that are in good fun and bullying. Some families enjoy giving each other a hard time and that's their idea of good fun, but it all has to be within everyone's sphere of comfort or it's not okay. If you're a grown adult bullying your siblings like a 10-year-old, then you're just being an immature butthole. Original poster is absolutely not fine with having her name deliberately mispronounced by her stepsister. It's been going on for years and she has voiced her displeasure repeatedly. It's disrespectful and frankly, yeah, probably a low racist. 19 is old enough to recognize that this kind of behavior is harmful and inappropriate and to stop when asked to stop. She may not intend to be racist, but this is a microaggression at the very least. Impact matters over intent. Stepsis may not realize she's being racist, but that doesn't change the way original poster will experience it. Yeah, this was my thought too. She may be a racist, but she may also just be a kid who was unhappy with the separation of her parents and being forced into a new family. Either way, she's absolutely in awe after this much time to learn and correct her behavior. Bruh, you on the wrong subreddit. This one solely for making wild accusations, identifying the other party as toxic, and drowning in red flags. How else we going to justify telling strangers they should make life-changing decisions based on a 100-word summation of their life? Get your nuanced butt outta here. The proper term for that behavior is xenophobic. Jesus approves of this comment. Not the butthole. Why hasn't your dad sat her down and phonetically taught her how to say your name? She either has a speech impediment, which would make you an or it's intentional. Original poster replies. She has no speech impediment and dad doesn't really care. I'd show no mercy. Speak in every language except English in her presence. Edit. Wow. Thank you for all the awards. Give her a Korean nickname that sounds vaguely like her name. Make sure it doesn't have any offensive meaning so you have clean hands, and tell her honestly what it means. Pronounce it correctly, and if you're asked to use her English name, make a face like it's distasteful and skew the pronunciation so it sounds more like the cute nickname you picked for her because you want her to fit in. So evil, but I love this. Here, take my silver, sir/madam. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.